So the question here is calculate the derivative of this function y equals 1 over x using the definition of derivative, which some books call that the difference quotient. Okay, because here it is. Here's the definition. So the definition of derivative, and essentially what this maybe looks like to you is slope, which is exactly what it is. It's the rise over the run. It's the change of the rise over the run as the points get closer and closer together. So we've got some function. Let's say we got some function. This isn't our function at hand, but we have some function, and we're taking 2 points, and we're looking at the limit as h, which h is the height of the difference right here. As the height gets closer and closer to 0, as these points, in other words, get closer and closer together, what's the slope of that line doing? So here's the secant line. If I keep moving that point closer, what's happening to the slope of that line? That's essentially what it means to be derivative at a given point. Okay? So that was just a quick summary of it. But here's the first thing usually you learn is how to do using the definition of derivative. So let's go ahead and write this out. It's the limit as h goes to 0 of f of x plus h. So I'm going to plug in x plus h everywhere I see x, minus f of x. So that's just f of x is just 1 over x, all divided by h. All right. Now we have to simplify this, and that's where the trick, usually for a lot of people, that's where it becomes complicated, is because they don't remember the rules for simplifying fractions. There's a couple ways you can do it. I recommend personally multiplying everything. Anytime you see a mixed fraction like this, multiplying everything by the least common denominator, which is x times x plus h, and you have to do that on the top and the bottom. And when you do that, you're going to get the limit as h goes to 0 of, when you multiply this here, the x plus h cancel and you just get x. When you multiply it here, the x's cancel and you just get minus x plus h, because the x is canceled. And then on the bottom, you're going to have h times x plus h. Follow that?
Yeah.
Now let's simplify that. That equals the limit as x goes to 0 of, distribute that negative in. A lot of people forget that too. So the x's are going to cancel. You're going to have a negative h on the top, all over h times x plus h. Now I can cancel the h's. So I have limit as h goes to 0 of negative 1 all over x times x plus h. Now, originally you couldn't have plugged in the 0 because you would be dividing by 0, and that's the reason that you couldn't have just done it originally. But now I can plug in 0, because now that will just give me x plus 0, which is just x. So my answer is just negative 1 over x squared. And that's the derivative of 1 over x, is negative 1 over x squared.